Chapter 51, A Bold Idea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, on the other side of the barrier, the members of the Exorcism Society frowned, annoyed that their senior members hadn't returned. Where are they? Why aren't they back yet? It's been days, one of them sighed, waving a dismissive hand. They're probably just goofing off, taking their sweet time. The task inside should be done by now. The first man scoffed and nodded, appeased. Yeah, probably. Just slacking off. It didn't even cross their minds that their people could be dead. After all, their barrier had been a major city before the apocalypse. Those eastern barriers were just backwater towns. When the end came, big cities were overrun with powerful monsters. Remote towns wouldn't have the same high concentration of strong enemies. They didn't take the situation seriously at all. The idea that someone could kill their exorcists was laughable. Alright, we'll deal with them when they get back. They're gonna get punished. Over the next couple of days, city lords and supernatural wielders in the other fortresses were caught in an endless cycle of killing and being killed. The monsters weren't just going to sit around and wait to be slaughtered. Poof! With a thrust of her sword, Dongfang Ruoyu killed a late-stage silver beast. She plucked out the beast's crystal core, call, star, she looked at it, breathing a sigh of relief. Finally, she had enough crystal cores. But resentment burned in her eyes. It was extortion, outright robbery. They called it protection money, but everyone knew it was a scam. But she didn't have a choice. She wasn't like Yunyi, who could single-handedly tear down a powerful barrier and reclaim all the property. Everyone, pack your things. We're heading to the blue and white barrier tomorrow. Yes, City Lord. A supernatural wielder replied respectfully. Meanwhile, back at the Nebula barrier, Yunyi was getting a handle on his powers. Judging by the calendar, it was almost time for the other barriers to bring their crystal cores to the blue and white barrier. Time for him to go, too. Time to collect the protection money that he was owed. He'd show them who needed protection. Yunyi gave a final check of his gear. He mounted the red flame tiger and looked down at Zhou Huaiwei and the others. I'm heading to the blue and white barrier. After I take care of things, I'll take you all to the big barrier. Big barrier. Just hearing those words made Zhou Huaiwei and the others yearn for it. It would have more resources and more survivors. Bai Zhishi overheard about the blue and white barrier and knew what Yunyi was planning. Blue and white barrier. Like Dongfang Ruoyu said, it was a medium to large barrier. A barrier built by a major city before the apocalypse. Everyone there was strong. It wasn't just the Exorcism Society, there were other independent powerhouses. Her husband was going to mess with the Exorcism Society. She stood there, looked at Yunyi, and after a long pause, said, "Be careful. Come back if things get too dangerous." Yunyi looked at her. "Don't worry." He patted the red flame tiger on the back. The red flame tiger roared to life. They watched Yunyi leave. Bai Zhishi started to feel uneasy, worried. Zhou Huaiwei noticed her anxiety. What's wrong? Why are you so restless? Bai Zhishi looked at her, hesitated, and then sighed. She gathered everyone together, and revealed the danger of Yunyi's trip. The others were shocked. They couldn't believe it. This. Was it really that dangerous? Worry spread across their faces. I'm going to help. Bai Zhishi announced. Zhou Huaiwei and the others nodded. They were going, too. Even the unmarried girls chimed in. Even though they weren't yet officially married to Yunyi, they were part of this big family. Bai Zhishi made some quick calculations, got everyone ready, and set off. With Xiao Haizi and her, they would be strong enough. After they left, 5 black shadows slipped out of the city. They followed Bai Zhishi and the others. They were Yunyi's puppet soldiers. At that moment, Yunyi sensed what Bai Zhishi and the others were doing. The girls were crowding on the back of the red flame tiger. He needed to wrap this up quickly so that they could arrive safely. He patted the red flame tiger again. The red flame tiger's speed increased. The next day, at the Exorcism Society, Dongfang Ruoyu and the other city lords registered at the entrance. They handed over the crystal cores. Dongfang Ruoyu and the others felt a pang of anguish as they handed over their hard-earned trophies. These were the results of their bloody battles with the monsters. Taken away so easily. But, there was nothing they could do. After they handed them over, a stranger came out. City lords, our leader wants to see you. The stranger led them into a manor, a tourist attraction turned residence, with winding paths, pavilions, and waterside gazebos. The environment was beautiful. They walked until they saw a man fishing. A middle-aged man in green sat there, holding a fishing rod. Like a hermit, removed from the world, he put down his rod and looked at them. He looked at them like they were ants, like he saw himself as a god, and they were just mortals. Good. You handed in the crystal cores on time. The Exorcism Society will protect you. His words oozed arrogance. Dongfang Ruoyu and the others bristled with anger, but they didn't dare to argue. Then, a stranger whispered something in the man's ear. Zhao King frowned. What do you mean the city lord of the Nebula Barrier isn't here yet? That his tone was questioning, laced with disdain. Dongfang Ruoyu was shocked. Yunyi hadn't arrived yet. He was late. She remembered his strong personality from that day. Suddenly, a bold idea sparked in her mind. Chapter 52 The Terrifying Red Flame Tiger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yunyi's not actually planning to hold on to those crystal cores, is he? The thought floored her. If that were true, Yunyi had a serious set of balls. I mean, the dude accepted a red flame tiger as his ride. Let's say he's peaking in his prime, strength-wise. Okay, that'll get you somewhere in a tiny backwater like ours. But who are we talking about here? We're talking about the Exorcist Society. They've got powerful people crawling all over the place, not to mention their current leader. He's early diamond level, for crying out loud. She'd already laid all this out for Yunyi before. What's with this guy? Why is he always swimming upstream? Nearby, the other city lords were equally gobsmacked by these thoughts, total shock and awe, but they kept their mouths shut. Meanwhile, Dongfang Ruoyu tried to buy Yunyi some time, looking at Zhao Kang, the Exorcist Society's big cheese. Sir, the Nebula Barrier is pretty isolated compared to us, so it'll definitely take them longer to get here. Zhao King just gave an impatient nod. Cut to, Yunyi, riding the red flame tiger straight into the Exorcist Society. The gatekeeper spotted Yunyi, then gawked at the tiger he was riding. Dude was speechless. This beast. He knew this one. Isn't that an early gold red flame tiger? But something's off about this tiger. The color's way more intense. And the size. Beefed up. Seriously weird vibe. Here to drop off the crystal cores, right? Spit it out. Which dump are you city lord of? That the questions were curt, like he was running through a checklist. Yunyi sized him up. I'm the city lord of Nebula Barrier. Nebula Barrier. The gatekeeper sneered. You're late. That's a 20% surcharge. That he said it like he was doing Yunyi a favor. Alright, where are those cores? Chop chop. Then he waited for Yunyi to hop down, seeing that Yunyi was just standing there, not moving a muscle. He snapped. What are you waiting for? Yunyi walked right up to him. First, I got a question for you. What, you want the crystal cores? I'll give them to you. The gatekeeper did a double take. Did he just hear that right? This guy's looking for a fight, alright. The city lord from Hicksville is feeling feisty. Ha! Others arriving at the Exorcist Society overheard Yunyi's words. They looked at him like he had two heads. How clueless do you have to be to pick a fight with the Exorcist Society? I'll answer that with my fist. The gatekeeper was livid, and glared at Yunyi. Next thing you know, the dude exploded with speed, the ground cracking under his feet. Then he shot forward like a rocket, heading straight for Yunyi. Boom! Early gold strength on full display. Yunyi shook his head, then he looked at Qi Yanhu beside him, and pointed forward. Qi Yanhu got the memo. The giant tiger lunged right at the gatekeeper. Whoosh! The air crackled. The tiger's claws swung right at the gatekeeper's chest. Talk about a haymaker. Like a titan hoisting a 1,000-pound weight and slamming it down. The gatekeeper saw the scarlet flame tiger coming, thought it was just some early gold scrub, easy peasy. But he was way wrong. This red flame tiger was a whole different animal. Not like he remembered at all. Way too savage. Midair. He went from offense to full defense. Tried to block Qi Yanhu's attack. Boom. A muffled thud. The gatekeeper got clocked by Qi Yanhu and went flying like a ragdoll. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. He crashed backwards, smashing through the walls of every room in his path. After plowing through a bunch of walls, he skidded across the floor for a good 10 yards before finally stopping. Everyone nearby just stood there, mouths agape. What was up with this red flame tiger's power? Something's not right. Something's definitely not right. The gatekeeper got to his feet, feeling like his insides were soup. The moment he opened his mouth, a gout of blood came blasting out. That's a mid-gold red flame tiger, all right. Other Exorcist Society guys ran out, looking at the scene. They didn't know what the hell was going on. We got trouble. Let's go, everyone. Heads up. That red flame tiger is mid-gold, point one word. Everyone's eyes went wide, staring at the red flame tiger. That was a mid-gold red flame tiger. No wonder this thing looks so crazy. So that's why he thinks he can throw down. Turns out he's got a mid-gold red flame tiger. More and more people gathered around, keeping their distance, all looking totally shocked. Still won't matter. The Exorcist Society's got a ton of heavy hitters. Don't forget, their leader's a straight-up diamond beast. Diamond. That one word. Weighed a ton. They looked at Yunyi with pity in their eyes. Here we go. The Exorcist Society's front line came charging at the red flame tiger. The brawls started right away. Instant chaos. Sonic booms. Explosions. Ears ringing. The pure-blooded red flame tiger had transformed into the god of war. Standing in front of Yunyi. Attacking the Exorcist Club guys like a madman. Claws flying everywhere. Every swipe sent some dude soaring dozens of yards. Kicking up dust. Qi Yanhu's muscles were bulging more and more. His body was growing bigger. Even his fur was stiff as steel needles. Yunyi took one look at Qi Yanhu, and smirked. This guy. Turns out he hadn't fully absorbed that blood-purifying potion from before. Now, fighting like this, he's finishing the job. That's why he's changing. Alright. Yunyi just let Qi Yanhu loose. But slowly but surely, the Exorcist Society brought in the big guns. And started wailing on the red flame tiger. Boom. One hell of a crash. The red flame tiger's claws went up against a late gold brawler. All of a sudden, boom. The red flame tiger got blasted backwards. Hit the ground hard. And a little blood dripped from his mouth. The Exorcist Society thugs saw the tiger looking beat, then looked at Yunyi. They hadn't expected this guy's ride to be so powerful. But he was getting shut down now. Had enough. The late gold thug stared down at Yunyi, puffed up with pride. He was sure the tiger was done for, and more of his crew had showed up. Victory was in the bag. Enough? Yunyi scoffed, ready to step forward. Next moment. The red flame tiger roared. And his body glowed with a furious, bloody light. Chapter 53. I said it, diamond level is nothing special. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Roar. A tiger's roar. It echoed across the sky. Instantly, the crimson flame tiger grabbed everyone's attention. Flames flickered around the tiger's body. It grew even larger. Now 7 feet long. Its power surged. Then, the crimson flame tiger fixed its gaze on that late-stage golden expert. In a flash, it lunged. The massive tiger claw swiped. Whoosh! Sensing the incredible force, the guy threw a punch. Instantly, that power hit him. His eyes widened. What is this? Such terrifying power. Before he could react, he was thrown backward. He tumbled through the air. Landing on one knee. He skidded several yards before stopping. With that, the crimson flame tiger leaped to the side. And attacked an early-stage golden-level guy. Bang! The crimson flame tiger's jaws clamped down. The guy's head was instantly bitten off. Then, the crimson flame tiger pounced again. Chaos erupted. No one expected the crimson flame tiger to be so powerful. Everyone watching from afar was stunned, mouths agape. What a strange tiger. Meanwhile, at the manor, Zhao Keng was meeting with other city lords, ready to assign the next crystal core task, but then someone rushed in. Chief! The city lord from Nebula Barrier is here. Dongfang Ruoyu's face lit up. So, Yunyi hadn't resisted. Although that meant a significant loss. It was better than losing his life. And hadn't he just broken through the power barrier? Compared to the barriers they dealt with, this was nothing. But then the guy continued, he's here causing trouble. He refused to hand over the crystal core and started a fight with our people. Right outside, boom. The words hit like a bombshell. Dongfang Ruoyu froze, goosebumps forming. What did he just say? The other city lords were equally stunned. This. Yunyi was here alone. How bold. Was he looking for death? Then, a blur caught their eye. Zhao Keng was gone. It was over. Dongfang Ruoyu stared at Zhao Keng's empty space. He was going after Yunyi. Outside, the crimson flame tiger's mouth was covered in blood. But it wasn't its blood. It was from a member of the Exorcist Society. The tiger was growing stronger and more ferocious. Almost unstoppable. It was mowing down the members. Several late-stage golden members looked on, panic setting in. They realized that even at their level, they'd be at a disadvantage against the tiger alone. This thing was too weird. You dare mess with the Exorcist Society? Just wait until our leader gets here. You'll be our prisoner. That they braced themselves. But then, a figure descended before them. They looked up. Like seeing a savior. From afar, everyone watched the figure float down from the sky. All eyes were glued on him. The leader of the Exorcist Society. An early-stage diamond expert. Zhao Keng. The big boss was here. Zhao Keng surveyed the scene, then looked at the guy who'd spoken. What you just said was wrong. That the guy was stunned. He lowered his head, afraid to argue. What did the chief mean? Did he admire this kid's strength and want to recruit him? Treat him like a guest? Was that why he was being reprimanded? But then, Zhao Keng stared at Yunyi, eyes cold, and sneered, anyone who dares to defy the Exorcist Society doesn't need a second chance. Just kill them. His words were calm and casual. Like killing Yunyi was nothing. The members of the Exorcist Society were pumped. They toughened up. Chief, we understand. Roar. The crimson flame tiger roared furiously at Zhao Keng's words. And charged. Zhao Keng watched the tiger approach. He stomped his foot. A huge stone flew towards the tiger. Boom. The crimson flame tiger blocked. An enormous force slammed into it. The crimson flame tiger was sent flying. Its massive body crashing through a row of houses. Dust and smoke billowed up. The members of the Exorcist Society cheered. Everyone watching from afar gasped. Was this the power of a diamond expert? The Crimson Flame Tiger, who'd been so unstoppable, was so vulnerable. Crap. That kid. He's done for. Everyone turned their pitying eyes to Yunyi, who was still standing in the middle. Zhao King walked towards Yunyi, step by step. Kid, you have no idea what the diamond level is capable of. You think having a Crimson Flame Tiger is something? You're just an ant. Zhao King spoke. Yunyi watched him approach, hands behind his back, and looked up. Actually, the diamond level isn't all that great. Silence. Everyone was stunned. Eyes widened in disbelief. What a loud mouth. Nothing great. Suicide. Zhao King sneered at the words. He lowered his stance. His figure blurred. Arms outstretched. He reached for Yunyi's neck. Everyone saw a flash. Zhao King was in front of Yunyi. His hand was inches from Yunyi's neck. Everyone looked away. This was it. His neck would snap. The members of the Exorcist Society grinned. Arrogant kid. You'll pay with your life. They watched intently, ready to see Yunyi's neck break. But then, Zhao King felt like he was there. He gripped hard, ready to snap Yunyi's neck. But he missed. The Exorcist Society and everyone else looked on in disbelief. The guy. Where'd he go? Even Zhao King was shocked. His hair stood on end. Where'd he go? Then, a soft voice came from his ear. I told you, the diamond level isn't all that special. PS, 4 updates. Please vote for recommendation. Thanks to Yulingshi, The Road Ahead and others for the large number of recommendation votes. Thanks to POH, Fallen to Mortal, etc. for your monthly votes. Thank you to all members for following up and subscribing. Chapter 54 Behead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Diamond? Big deal. Simple words, but they hit Zhao King like a lightning strike. Then, Yunyi charged, his punch warped the space around it, whoosh, starred out a violent sonic boom ripped through the air, the punch shot out like a roaring dragon. Zhao King looked at the punch and saw the wrath of the gods. The power was unbelievable. He hastily threw up his guard. The next instant, he felt a savage force. Then, he was flying backwards like a cannonball, boom, star. Zhao King was in worse shape than that tiger from before, except, he was smaller, so he smashed through walls. One punch, obliterated. Everyone's jaws dropped. They couldn't believe it. What kind of power was that? He just sent Zhao King, a diamond level expert, flying. What was this kid, diamond level early, mid, or even late? Back at the Exorcist Club, the members' legs were shaking. They thought Yunyi's backup was the tiger, but nope. He was the muscle. Bang! Another explosion in the distance. Zhao King was climbing out of the wreckage, looking furious. He hadn't been prepared. He'd lost the advantage in a heartbeat. He glared at Yunyi, still stunned by his strength, and his innocent face. Total deception. Zhao King stormed toward him. Yunyi cranked up his own abilities to the max. God-level hunting. Joyo energy. King Kong invincibility. He watched Zhao King come and got ready to rumble. He charged. Everything blurred. The two fighters collided in a flash of light. Boom, star. For a second, they all thought they were seeing things. Waves of air erupted as they clashed. They traded blows. Boom, 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 star. Fists slammed into flesh. Zhao King's eyes were wide. His teeth gritted. Each of Yunyi's punches was a shockwave. He was getting rocked. This kid. What kind of power is this? Every blow is stronger than the last. It's like a goddamn hammer. And why does hitting him feel like hitting steel? Why? Zhao King's eyes turned bloodshot. He looked at Yunyi, totally bewildered. This kid was messed up. He just had to grit his teeth and keep going. All of Zhao King's arrogance, coldness, and cruelty began to crack. He was on the retreat. Yunyi, meanwhile, was feeling the power surge through him. Diamond level, early stage, plus the Joyo energy boost. Each of Yunyi's punches was more devastating. add in King Kong invincibility. And Yunyi's body seemed to glow with golden light, asterisk. Boom boom boom, star, the two warriors left no trace standing, destroying everything in their path. Houses were flattened, reduced to powder. Through the dust, people could barely glimpse their figures. Everyone in the distance swallowed hard, sucking in air. Is this what a diamond-level fighter is? The words resonated with everyone. They'd known diamonds were strong, but they had no clue. Asterisk whoosh, star, the wind blew, everyone stared into the dust cloud. Zhao Keng was flying out, twisted in the air like a shrimp. He'd been gut-punched, beat to hell. As everyone watched, a figure flashed in front of Zhao Keng. A flying kick slammed right into Zhao Keng's chest and abdomen. Asterisk boom. Star, Zhao Keng was launched. His impact blew away the cloud of dust. Back at the manor, Dongfang Ruoyu looked anxious. She remembered the rage hidden beneath Zhao Keng's calm mask. He wasn't going to negotiate. She was afraid she wouldn't see Yunyi again. Not only would he suffer, but also the Nebula Barrier. This was the first time the Exorcist Society had collected protection fees. If someone refused to pay the first time, they'd make an example out of him, kill the chicken to scare the monkey. They might even annihilate the whole barrier. This was a major disaster, she sighed. Next to her, the city lords wore odd expressions. They couldn't believe Yunyi, a newbie, dared to stand up to them. Sometimes, having a backbone isn't a good thing. One of the city lords shook his head, as if he'd signed Yunyi's death warrant. No matter how strong Yunyi was, he was still a golden stranger. Zhao Keng was a diamond, leader of the Exorcist Society. The gap was unbridgeable. Humph, that kid is too cocky. He thought he was invincible just because he had some power and a tiger. He thought destroying a weak barrier meant something. Please. A barrier is nothing to the Exorcist Society. Exactly. A city lord added, he's screwed now, and the barrier is going to suffer too. Worse, I wonder if it'll implicate us. Dongfang Ruoyu frowned. Alright, Dongfang Ruoyu said something, but the others glared and cursed at her. What was that supposed to mean? Did the golden stranger think she was hot stuff? They all scoffed. What did they do wrong? That kid was probably a goner. There had been so many explosions in the distance. Zhao Keng had probably torn him apart. Right as they were thinking this, another explosion ripped through the air in the distance. Then, they saw a figure, streaking through the sky like a shooting star, heading straight for them. Then, he crashed into the artificial lake next to them. Boom, a wave of water erupted. Chapter 56 Piles of Gold-Grade Alien Beast Crystal Cores. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, the scene outside the meeting hall was a graveyard. Gold-level aliens lay dead everywhere. And Zhao Keng. Yunyi had completely humiliated him. Hearing what happened, the remaining Exorcist Society members scattered like cockroaches, officially cutting ties. Seriously? They weren't about to stick around for revenge. Everyone knew Yunyi had wiped the floor with Zhao Keng, a diamond-level powerhouse. Revenge? Not a chance. Dongfang Ruoyu and the others caught up with Yunyi and saw the devastation. The sight of it left them speechless. City lords turned green, and Dongfang Ruoyu covered her mouth, eyes wide. She could only imagine the kind of power Yunyi wielded to break through the barrier. Two city lords collapsed, legs giving out, the same ones who said Yunyi wouldn't stand a chance against Zhao Keng. Yunyi's cold glare nearly gave them heart attacks. He moved toward the red flame tiger, a step away, and led it into the interior. Time to loot. With Zhao Keng down, his stash was up for grabs. His diamond-level strength meant he had more than a few goodies. Crystal nuclei piled up like mountains. Yunyi couldn't help but grin. The barrier was good, but nothing like the quality of what Zhao Keng had. These were all gold-level beast cores, hundreds of them. The red flame tiger trembled, realizing that if Yunyi hadn't shown up, it would have been ripped apart. It would have been overwhelmed by Zhao Keng despite its boosted bloodline. Yunyi gathered the cores and went deeper, discovering a hidden compartment. Inside, a piece of scale sat as big as a cattail fan. It was colorful, beautiful, and felt strange. Stroking it, Yunyi wondered what kind of beast could grow scales this size. Wow! He turned to the red flame tiger. Know what this is? The tiger looked confused, then shook its head, eyes wary. Scales that big and weird probably belong to no ordinary creature. Yunyi tossed it into the system space and pulled out a scroll. Unrolled, it was a map. But not one Yunyi recognized, at least not of the area. Mysterious. He snorted, tossing that into the system space, too. Then, he looked back at the crystal cores. With a wave, he absorbed them. The hundreds of gold-level cores flooded Yunyi with a torrent of energy. He figured they'd be enough to push him to the diamond middle stage, but no dice. Leveling up was hard. He'd need a lot more. Yunyi poked around, finding more, but they were silver level and below. Zhao King had a massive basement just to store the stuff. It was probably sent from the barriers. He absorbed all the high-level cores, but still didn't advance. As for the rest, Yunyi moved them into the basement, almost filling the space. He also found some spiritual plants, but not nearly as many as the cores. Zhao King wasn't an alchemist, so he didn't need them. Furs and hides from other spiritual beasts were scattered around the manor, too. Yunyi took a walk around the place, liking the vibe. Then, he remembered Bai Jishi and the others were coming. He and the red flame tiger stepped outside to find a bunch of aliens milling about. What's going on? Yunyi asked, voice icy. They all jumped. The leader quickly raised his hands. Sir, don't get us wrong. We saw your strength and wanted to know if we could help now that you've taken over the manor. We're at your service. That the other aliens nodded, eyes sincere. Most of them had been watching the fight. They were trying to get in good with him. The blue and white barrier was huge, and they had the best shot, living close by. Word would spread, and aliens would be lined up to work for him. Yunyi understood. Okay. Start by tidying up the place. He gestured at the battle scene. The manor was home to Zhao King and the higher-ups. Outside, the others lived. He'd already looted the manor, and there was more outside. And organize anything you find. Yes, sir. The leader, a guy named Xian, practically beamed. He'd scored a connection with this guy. After Yunyi left, they got to work. The more they cleaned, the more they understood the scale of what happened. This scene was insane. Walls smashed. Compared to this kind of power, their skills were nothing. Chapter 57 New Home. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Here, Yunyi, riding a red flame tiger, cruised through the blue and white barrier, drawing stares from everyone around. Whoa, that red flame tiger is seriously badass. Sure, they'd seen red flame tigers before, but nothing like this. Holy crap, look at that red flame tiger. What happened to it? It's a variant. Someone pointed it out. Another stranger, hearing the commotion about the red flame tiger, instinctively looked over. Then, his blood ran cold. He immediately clamped his hand over his mouth. You trying to get yourself killed? He hissed. The guy next to him was totally confused. What's your problem? I just pointed at it. Why are you freaking out? You have no clue. The first stranger glanced nervously at Yunyi, his lips twitching. I just overheard people saying the Exorcism Society got wiped out. What? The man's voice shot up, then dropped as he saw the surrounding faces. When did that happen? Seriously? Don't be ridiculous. Their leader, Zhao King, was diamond stage, early on. The stranger glared at him. Why would I lie? The rumor is some young dude riding a mutated red flame tiger chopped Zhao King's head clean off. No way. I'm telling you, it's him. You dare point at him? Think your neck's tougher than Zhao King's? A few quick words were enough to make him duck his head. That ruthless? That powerful? That fierce? His neck against Zhao King's? Not even with steel plates. His face drained of color instantly. He scrambled behind the stranger, peeking out cautiously. He visibly relaxed when Yunyi didn't notice him. Word spread fast, everyone was looking at Yunyi. Some were even thinking about sucking up to him. But seeing Yunyi and the tiger moving with such purpose, radiating intensity, they chickened out. Nobody dared make a move, they just watched him head for the city gate. Meanwhile, outside the gate, on the road, Bai Jishi and the others checked their map. They were almost at the blue and white barrier. Even Bai Jishi was getting anxious. After all, she knew what Yunyi was planning to do here. Go in, guns blazing. And the Exorcism Society's leader was a diamond powerhouse. With tons of golden-level fighters under him. Could this actually work? Regardless, successful or not, she would avenge her husband. Even if it was a suicide mission. Around her, Zhou Huiwei and the others, noticing Bai Jishi's tense expression, looked grim. Bai Jishi had laid out the risks for them earlier, a narrow escape from death. At best, they had already made up their minds, if anything happened to their husband, they wouldn't want to live anyway. We're almost there. Bai Jishi's voice snapped them back to reality, and they started praying in their hearts. Let's go. Bai Jishi sped up toward the blue and white barrier. Her eyes hardened as the fortress walls came into view. Then, a flash of red light near the city gate made her stop dead in her tracks. Wait, what was that? The other women saw it too, equally stunned. That giant figure? Was it their red flame tiger? It didn't look like it. Then their eyes shot up to the figure on its back. Tears instantly welled up. It was their husband. In that moment, Bai Jishi and the others started sprinting. Hubei Mountain. Yunyi spotted them and hopped down. He rushed toward them. A reunion. Bai Jishi's early golden strength had to be used immediately. With a light step, her figure rushed forward. Other girls, ah. Sister Bai. You don't follow martial ethics. Is this how strength is used? Then, Bai Jishi threw herself into Yunyi's arms. After that, all the other girls were there. Husband, are you okay? Bai Jishi pulled back, looking him over, relieved to see he wasn't hurt. I'm fine. It's all taken care of, Yunyi said. Bai Jishi looked stunned. All taken care of? What was taken care of? Did it resolve the issue or? Yunyi noticed her confusion, reached out, and playfully rubbed her neck. Instantly, Bai Jishi nearly swallowed her tongue. Her mouth hung open wide enough to drop an egg in. Solved the diamond powerhouse. Seriously? So, her husband was now a diamond expert. Something wasn't right. Something was definitely wrong. Husband, you are definitely picking up yin and replenishing yang. Otherwise, why would his strength grow so fast? Bai Jishi's heart was racing with shock. Seeing Zhou Huiwei and the others crying with joy, Yunyi said, all right, enough tears. Let's go into the city. I want to show you our new place. It's going to blow your minds. He led them toward the red flame tiger. Accompanied by their other mounts, they headed for the city. Husband, what happened to our red flame tiger? Why does he look like that now? Han Bingyu asked. Yunyi patted the red flame tiger's flank. This guy's bloodline is purer now, that's all. So, it changed his appearance. The women chatted. Beside them, many people saw this scene. All the men and women stared, their mouths agape. This was like a pre-apocalypse scene of the poor observing the rich second generation driving fancy cars with beautiful women. Even worse. This guy. Riding a red flame tiger. Surrounded by a bunch of gorgeous women. Each one stunning. Look at those legs. That waist. That face. The men and women looked on with envy. This asterisk was the life. But no one dared say anything. After all, he was too powerful. Some of the female aliens were thinking deeply. No one knew what they were thinking about. On the tiger's back, the women looked around. This barrier was big. It was simply incomparable to the nebula barrier. Yunyi led them to the manor, in front of the manor. A large open space. The rubble was gone. On one side, there were crystal cores, exotic strains, various exotic animal skins, etc. On the other side, a group of strangers and several city lords stood waiting. The women were stunned, such a big reception. That's our new home, Yunyi gestured toward the manor. They looked, and gasped. This manor. This was their new home. Chapter 58 Congratulations from all directions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When they saw the manor, their eyes lit up. This was the place. Before, they were just tourists here, and before that, only the elite could live here. There was never room for them. Now, they had a chance. Let's go. Let's go check it out. Yunyi gave them an encouraging pat. They headed inside. Baijishi spotted Dongfang Ruoyu standing nearby. Dongfang, Baijishi greeted her, using her given name. They had a good thing going before all this. She glanced at Yunyi, a silent question in her eyes. Yunyi understood. Just show her around, it's no big deal. Ruoyu, come on in and take a look. Baijishi pulled Dongfang Ruoyu along. Once inside, Zhou Huaiwei and the others looked at Dongfang Ruoyu. Who's this, Bai? This is Dongfang Ruoyu, the city lord of Seaside Barrier. You've probably heard of her, Baijishi explained. Dongfang Ruoyu nodded to the group, showing respect, even though they were technically just average Joes, that they were Yunyi's wives. City Lord Yi was a total badass who took down Zhao Keng, a diamond-level powerhouse. Happy wife, happy life, you know. Got it. Let's all go take a look together. Zhou Huaiwei welcomed Dongfang Ruoyu, then she checked Dongfang Ruoyu out. Good looks, graceful moves, her husband would definitely be into it. Zhou Huaiwei thought, then, she led everyone further inside. To check out the decorations. Wow! Everyone was blown away. Magnificent didn't even begin to cover it. Everyone scattered to explore. Each room was like opening a mystery box. Pure joy. Yunyi watched the others from outside, a smile on his face. Thanks for your hard work. No problem at all, the leading stranger replied immediately. So, I'm throwing a wedding bash tonight, and everyone's invited. That made everyone's eyes widen. What did this mean? This meant that he was treating them like one of his own. Back when Zhao Keng was in charge, they wouldn't have even gotten a glimpse of him. And now this. An opportunity like this. And this guy was even tougher than Zhao Keng. Get on his good side, and they'd be set. Many of the strangers were touched. He was getting married, and they had to bring a decent gift. And it had to be good. Time to go prepare. The thought hit everyone at once. Sir, we'll head back to get ready, and then come back to help you decorate, okay? Sounds good. With Yunyi's approval, they all took off. Yunyi looked at what was left, making sure no one was around. He waved his hand, time to absorb. The mountain of crystal cores instantly transformed into a surge of energy flowing into Yunyi's body. Still no progress. Damn it. This was tough. Yunyi sighed. Then he looked at the rest. He snapped his fingers. Next thing he knew, 5 figures appeared in the distance and came to Yunyi. His 5 god-level puppets, Qi Yanhu and the others were coming too. Yunyi made some arrangements, moving everything toward the garden. Inside, Zhou Huaiwei and the others had been exploring for ages, and they still weren't halfway done. Huge. This place was huge. Honey, this place is so empty. It's enormous, Zhou Huaiwei said, there are so few of us, how are we ever going to fill this place? Baijishi chuckled. Knowing my husband, I bet it won't be long before this place is packed. That brought smiles to the faces of the Han sisters and the other wives. Dongfang Ruoyu. What? Were they always this open with each other? This chill. Yunyi looked at Baijishi, sensing a shift in her. He was going to have to teach her a lesson. Bai Jishi met Yi Yunyi's eyes and immediately looked away. She didn't dare. Yi Yunyi led them to the basement, where he was putting the crystal cores and spiritual plants from outside. Everyone looked at the pile of crystals. They were stunned. The size of it. The value. Dongfang Ruoyu looked at them, lost in thought. She recognized some of those crystal cores as ones she and the other city lords had handed over. But she knew the deal. They gave them up because they were scared. Once they were handed over, they belonged to Zhao Keng. Now that Yi Yunyi had taken out Zhao Keng, these things naturally belonged to Yi Yunyi. She knew she couldn't even ask for them back. As night approached, the strangers began to arrive. They helped decorate the place. Night came, the place was decked out. Everything was red. Within the blue and white barrier, many families came after hearing the news. Sir, congratulations on your wedding. I'm from the Wu family, and this is a gift from our family, that the head of the Wu family said, opening the congratulatory gift. Inside was a mutated ginseng. Almost in human form. Yi Yunyi knew the value of this spiritual plant. Thanks, Yi Yunyi nodded, accepting it. Sir, I'm Zheng Cheng, the head of the Zheng family. This is the gift I've prepared for you, 2 late-stage gold crystal cores. Zheng Cheng opened the gift with a pang of regret. His family had gotten these crystal cores at a huge price. My lord, I am. This is me. One after another, figures appeared, each carrying a congratulatory gift. Everyone offering congratulations. Finally, Bai Jishi, in charge, began recording the gifts. The more she wrote, the more surprised she became. These family heads were really going all out. Hell yeah. She was loving it, and the more the family heads looked pained as they handed over their gifts, the bigger Bai Jishi's smile became. Her hands were practically numb from accepting everything. After a while, everyone was seated. The feast began. Everyone ate and drank. Dongfang Ruoyu was sitting with several other city lords. Since Dongfang Ruoyu and Bai Jishi were tight and had access to Yi Yunyi, the other city lords figured they'd try. Dongfang, what do you think about us asking City Lord Yi for our crystal cores back? Yeah, City Lord Ye's got a big operation and doesn't need our stuff. Let's ask City Lord Yi out to dinner tomorrow, as a thank you. Dongfang Ruoyu frowned. She looked at them. You really think you're going to get them back? Chapter 59 Rewarding God-level beasts again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Silence fell over everyone with a single sentence. Then, a city lord ventured, Dongfang City Lord. Dongfang Ruoyu cut him off with a wave. I'm not after the crystal core. Unlike Lord Yi, I didn't put up a fight. Call me a coward, fine by me. Besides, the crystal core went to Zhao Keng, not directly to Lord Ye's city. So why bring up Yi Qingzhu now? I'm out. If any of you want it, go for it. The other city lords exchanged gloomy glances, then they turned back to Dongfang Ruoyu, hoping to change his mind. Dongfang City Lord, it seems you're on good terms with Lord Yi. Could you do us a favor and set up a banquet with him tomorrow? You think that's a small favor? Dongfang Ruoyu sighed, looking at them. All right. But I'll tell City Lord Yi up front that I'm not interested. With that, Dongfang Ruoyu turned away. Done with the conversation, he went to find Bai Jishi, who greeted him with a beaming smile. A glance at her gift made him understand her joyful mood. Wow, intense. Ruoyu, you're here. Bai Jishi greeted him. This blue and white barrier is amazing, so different. The moves are unique. I'm planning a trip to the trading market tomorrow. Got time? She knew the trading market of a barrier would really showcase its magnificence. Dongfang Ruoyu considered it. Okay, I'll gather some intel tomorrow and tag along. Great. I'm swamped right now. Yeah, I noticed you can't stop grinning. Dongfang Ruoyu and Bai Jishi playfully teased each other. Meanwhile, other guests raised their glasses to Yi Yunyi, showing him the utmost respect. The banquet ended. just like before, Yunyi swept the girl up into his arms and headed for the bedroom. This time, however, he didn't go to the torture chamber, the garden was too massive now. Yunyi picked the farthest, most secluded spot. Here, noise wouldn't bother anyone. The night passed, the other girls remained undisturbed. Yunyi rose the next morning, he took in the garden with satisfaction. Suddenly, a screen popped up. Congratulations to the host for successfully marrying a wife. Reward, 100 poison pills. Huh? Yunyi stared at the screen. Poison pills? What were those? He checked the details. Interesting, different types, some potent, some slow-acting, some that seeped into the bone marrow, but weren't toxic. Cool. Good to have. He tucked them into the system space, then, he checked his personal stats. Name, Yunyi. Height, 185 centimeters. Level, Diamond, early stage. Skills, rapid absorption, God-level hunting skills, second stage of Joyo Chi, God-level movement, second stage of indestructible Vajra. Weapon, Tomahawk level 1. Props, 19 God-level alien beast control pills, 10 dead soldier puppets, strength, mid-golden stage, 9 bottles of God-level alien beast blood pure liquid reward, 100 poison pills, then, another screen. Congratulations to the host wife for her successful pregnancy. Reward, God-level beast, Qingling Depeng. Whoa! Yunyi was taken aback. Then, the delivery. Darkness descended. He looked up. Far above. A massive black bird appeared. Enormous. All black. Yunyi waved from below, the big bird descended. Landing hard. Yunyi gawked. Holy cow. This bird was huge. Standing, it was easily 15 feet tall. Wings fully extended, it must have spanned 60 feet or more. Like the rock from the Lion Camel Ridge in Journey to the West. Its beak gleamed menacingly. Its claws were equally deadly. The impact of landing tore holes in the ground. Impressive. Riding this would be way better than an old airplane. Awesome. Yunyi checked out Qingling Depeng, species, Qingling Depeng. Bloodline, pure. Grade, mid-golden stage, not bad. Golden stage right off the bat. Unlike Xiao Haizi, who started as a puppy, Yunyi poured out some god-level animal feed. Depeng gobbled it down, showing no restraint. Yunyi. So much for majestic. Eat up. Yunyi patted Depeng's wing, then remembered he could make medicine today. So many different strains. He headed to the basement to find the ingredients. Finally, looking over his collection, his lips twitched. He had all the basic materials, but a lot of the top-grade stuff needed to be acquired. Time for the trading market. He grabbed the rare strains and headed out. He found Bai Jishi in the garden, admiring the fish in the man-made lake. Bai Jishi stared, startled. Honey. So many alien strains this early. What's up? Need a tune-up. Yunyi glared at her, and gently put the strains down. She's asking for it. Bai Jishi stuck out her tongue. Instant regret. She turned to run. A figure flashed in front of her. She was hoisted over someone's shoulder. Put me down. Smack. A sharp sound echoed, and pain shot through Bai Jishi. Her face flushed. Yunyi carried her off, scoffing. I'll show you if I need a tune-up. Bai Jishi wanted to bite her tongue off. Stupid mouth. Now look what you've done. Yunyi was about to carry Bai Jishi into the house. Qingling Depeng appeared at his side. Bai Jishi gaped. This. What a beast. Definitely not someone to mess with. She watched Depeng nuzzle Yunyi affectionately, astounded. After a pause, she finally stammered, Honey, is this, your bird? Chapter 63 Strange Beasts Fight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Check it out, this is my new exotic beast, the Qingling Depeng. No need to explain any further to Bai Jishi. He headed straight for the house. In the garden, Qi Yanhu was leisurely strolling with Xiao Haizi, looking pretty content. After all, this place was huge. Way better than their old villa. As the two beasts took their walk, a shadow suddenly fell from the sky. They looked up and saw the Qingling Depeng. Immediately, the wolf howled and the tiger roared. Then, with a cry from above, the Qingling Depeng dove down, charging at Qi Yanhu and Xiao Haizi. In an instant, the three gold-level beasts were going at it. Qi Yanhu, thinking it was an intruder, didn't hesitate and pounced, leaping toward the Depeng in the air. The roc dodged and weaved, then flapped its wings, meeting the red flame tiger's claws. Clang, star, the sound of metal clashing rang out. Xiao Haizi jumped in, aiming for Qingling Depeng's head. Suddenly, a shadow flashed. It grabbed Xiao Haizi by the neck and slammed him to the ground. Xiao Haizi was ready to fight back, but when he saw who it was, his resistance melted away. It was Yunyi. Xiao Haizi looked up at him, trying to be cute, even licking Yunyi's hand. "Back off," Yunyi commanded, and Xiao Haizi obeyed instantly, acting like a good boy. Yunyi stood up and glared at Qianhu and Qingling Depeng. Immediately, the two beasts came to his side. "You guys like to fight, huh?" The question sent shivers down their spines. They lowered their heads respectfully, sensing Yunyi's anger and daring not to move. "Stay here and don't let anyone in. If you cause any more trouble, I'll cut my work short and turn you all into stew." The three beasts were shaking like leaves. They stayed put, acting like saints. Stew? That was no joke. Seeing they were behaving, Yunyi went back inside. Meanwhile, outside in a fancy room, several city lords were looking around, impressed by the blue and white barrier, a step up from their own small barriers. They looked at Dongfang Ruoyu. "City Lord Dongfang, would you mind calling Lord Yi over later?" "Okay." Dongfang Ruoyu nodded and stood up, heading towards the garden. After knocking on the door, Zhou Huaiwei answered. "Sister Ruoyu." "Sister Zhou, where's City Lord Yi?" Zhou Huaiwei knew Dongfang Ruoyu was looking for Yunyi. After a moment's thought, she pointed in a general direction. "You're an outsider, and you're fast, so go see if my husband is done with his work yet." "Okay." Dongfang Ruoyu set off. She arrived after a while. She was about to start looking when she felt a terrifying pressure coming from nearby. She looked over and gasped. Her mouth twitched. What was this? She saw Qianhu staring at her intently. And there was Xiao Haizi, and a giant rock bird, looking menacing. They were all watching her. It was terrifying. It felt like one more step and they'd tear her apart. This was clearly where Yunyi was. These three were guarding the door. No one was getting in. Time stood still. Dongfang Ruoyu could hear her own heart pounding. Who wouldn't be nervous facing these three gatekeepers? Suddenly, other sounds broke the silence. Dongfang Ruoyu listened. Stunned, she looked toward the house, wondering if Zhou Huaiwei's work was really what she thought it was. Her face flushed. Oh, so that's what was going on. No wonder those three were blocking the way. "Excuse me." And, judging by the sounds, it seemed to be by Jishi. She backed away immediately. Back to the private room, the others gathered around. "Dongfang City Lord? Is City Lord Yi not coming?" Dongfang Ruoyu bristled at the insinuation. What did they mean by that? She snapped, "City Lord Yi is busy." "Just wait." They nodded. They waited. It was almost noon. Dongfang Ruoyu stood up. "I'll go check again." She approached again. The three door gods were immediately on alert. Dongfang Ruoyu was mortified as she listened. Good grief. It was almost noon. How many hours? Could this serious business really take so long? How much stamina did they have? She listened, and by Jishi's voice was growing fainter. It sounded like someone who was losing a battle. She went back. After a while, she figured enough time had passed. She asked them to order and serve the food first. Then Dongfang Ruoyu went over again, but the sounds of waves were still crashing. This time, Dongfang Ruoyu sat down right there, waiting, but her face was getting redder and redder. Time passed. The city lord stared at the table of cold dishes. Why hadn't she come back yet? But what could they do? They just had someone heat up the food again. Finally, Dongfang Ruoyu heard the noises stop. She jumped up. This time, the three beasts in front of her all flinched. They glared at her. Dongfang Ruoyu immediately held up her hands. signaling them to relax. She slipped to the side. After a while, Yunyi emerged, looking refreshed. Then, Bai Zhishi followed. Her steps were unsteady. It looked like she just battled a wild beast. Dongfang Ruoyu stared, her mouth twitched. So that's what happened. Yin was taken and the yang was replenished. Why was the difference so stark? A diamond-level alien, how terrifying. Yunyi spotted Dongfang Ruoyu. What's up? City Lord Yi, the lords of the barrier cities would like to invite you to a meal. Dongfang Ruoyu said. Then Bai Zhishi came up. Ruoyu, have you been waiting outside? Dongfang Ruoyu didn't know how to answer. How could she explain? Bai Zhishi saw her blushing face and understood instantly. Her own face turned red with embarrassment. All the noises from before, she must have heard everything. Ack. Bai Zhishi was mortified. She looked at Dongfang Ruoyu, a strange mix of emotions in her eyes.